Good. You understand?
All right, so what do we want to do next?
Superman, Wonder Woman.
Yeah, that sounds good. I
Yep.
actually just pulled that up. So
So Superman, Wonder Woman, written by Dan Waters, the art by Layla Del Duca.
Del Luca. Yeah.
No, Del Duca because
Oh, Del Duca. Yeah. Why did I read that as an L? Jesus Christ.
man, you just
I
received the
think the
L.
first, I think the first thing I want to say is that like this feels much more traditionally Superman than it had any right to be.
Yeah, yeah.
Like
John actually acting like Superman.
what a shock.
I mean, yeah, like it's weird that in his own book he is not Superman, despite the fact he is Superman. But in
And
Justice
then
League, in
there's a
Justice
small,
League, and in this, he acts more like Superman than in his own book.
sometimes even more than like modern Clark.
Yeah.
And then there's a little detail I liked, and I'm not sure if you noticed it, but it's when John's drinking his coffee, and like it does the pan over shot of Metropolis. Like Daily Planet is still there, but like all the buildings have grown around it rather than it being the tallest building. And I
Yeah.
like that because that's like a very quick way of showing the future.
Yeah. Yep. So the story for Superman Wonder Woman is that Solaris, a Silver Age villain of Superman.
Like again, we're going like some really deep ass cuts in this.
Yeah. Solaris has arrived on Earth wanting to get revenge on Superman, but it's clearly John. He doesn't just say the Superman I fought. So John did something to him, and it ended in Solaris's defeat. And so Solaris has come back after consuming like what's he say like 3,000 suns to power himself to exact his revenge on Superman. But this connects to the Wonder Woman side when a sun god sees Solaris up there. It's like, hey, that's my job.
Kuat. It's Kuat, right?
Kuat, yes, Kuat. It's like, hey, that's my job. If anyone's going to provide light and be a giant fiery ball, it's me. And goes up to confront Solaris. I would honestly say that's kind of the weakest part of this story.
Like
Just,
I don't give a shit. I don't give a shit about like these personified gods.
yeah, like just like we'll see who can run the fastest. It's like, oh, this is so dumb. It's like it's not about being fast; it's about being strong. And goes to fight him. It's like, oh
You've
no,
got
who
like
who
diet.
who provides
You've
the
got
most
diet
heat?
sun.
He's like, who
You've got
provides the
diet
most?
sunspot.
Yeah, you diet sunspot, pretty much it. He's like, who? It's not about. It doesn't matter who is the fastest. It's who produces the most heat, and just fucking just gets hot. It's just so pointless, and then that connects to Wonder Woman because Wonder Woman knows who Kuat is. She's friends with both him and his brother. Although I'd say how Wonder Woman is introduced here is a bit I don't particularly like because she saves someone but then berates him.
Oh no. Okay, so what I liked was that okay, so I don't know how familiar you are with the political situation in Brazil right now, and this might just be me, but Jair Bolsonaro is kind of like one of those like pseudo populists who pretends to care about the city but does nothing to fix it.
Okay, yep.
And this is a pretty obvious, not Bolsonaro.
Okay.
And what he's doing is like he's avoiding the problems, and like she saves him, but then when she has the opportunity to talk to him, she's like, "Yeah, fix your shit." And then they try to pull. I like that bit where like she gets to the helicopter and he pulls a gun on, and the pilot pulls a gun on her, and she goes, "Oh, please, please, please try and shoot me." And I like that.
Yeah, I just
Like it's
yeah.
definitely like different Wonder Woman. It's like New 52 Wonder Woman, but like a different character, so it doesn't feel like out of character.
Yeah, I guess I just felt like it was, eh.
It wasn't like the best part of the book, but it was kind of just a neat way.
I feel
to
like you would
differentiate
have
itself from
had to
just
like
being Diana.
yeah. I feel like you would have had to know that context about real life stuff to understand that part.
Yeah,
Because for me it just I was just like, okay, this is okay, sure, whatever.
and
And
that's me more. That's me more making assumption than anything.
yeah, That could
because
it could be
I don't know if it
possibly
was meant to,
anything else. It could be
I don't know
something
if it was meant to
different.
be
Yeah.
a. But I did like the bit where like she crumbles up their helicopter and makes them like write. You know how in school the teachers make you write shit on the chalkboard.
Yeah.
Like I will not do that. I liked that she did that. It was just a neat little character building moment for her.
Yeah.
But then you go into the personified god shit with
Cool.
Surfer Bro and not Sunspot, and then I was like, whatever.
And that's the thing I've noticed with the art here. I feel like the artist doesn't particularly know how to draw male.
Real quick, my mom's calling me. I'm gonna mute myself. So
Yeah, no
keep
problem.
on going.
So I feel like with the artist doesn't particularly understand or know how to draw male faces a lot of the times, because a lot of the faces, and I'm gonna show you it here. Like, look at this picture of John in the book. Is the mouth is just so small, and so are the eyes. It's like this feels like someone's like like this feels like someone's racist depiction of Asians. This picture.
Oh wait, which part?
The
one of Superman.
Yeah.
Oh,
this,
it kind of reminds me of Ken and Kong from New Superman.
it does, yeah, and. It also happened to
Why does it look like Charlie Kirk? Like the shrunken in face?
Yeah, like this kind of face is recurring in it. Like even Surfer Dude, my brother to not Sunspot, had this. His mouth was smaller than his face. Like the proportions of like mouth and eyes are so off. Like the faces are so big for some reason.
Holy tiny face, Batman.
And then Superman is able to kind of reach somewhat of like an agreement with Solaris, just like, I'll fight you soon. But because of what's going on with there being two different sources of sunlight or whatever, you know, the typical
Is it implying the effect stacks, or
the effects stacked, or something happens to John and he collapses.
Whatever.
Whatever. Yep. So, what would you give this issue?
I would give this somewhere between a B and a B plus. I think it had a much stronger characterization of John and Yara than in their own solo books.
Mm.
Like they have like it. I don't know how much. Is it Dan Waters who wrote this?
Dan Waters. Yep.
I don't know how much of this he collaborated on with Joshua Williamson, but they have a very similar dynamic here that they do in Justice League, and I appreciated that carrying over.
Yeah.
And I think it helps that this is supposed to be in the future from Justice League. Maybe? I don't know.
Who knows? Like I said, I don't think they have a clear consistency with timelines with a lot of their stuff. I'd give it B minus.
I can see you giving. I was gonna say I can see you giving a B minus or B.
Yeah, I'd say B minus. It wasn't bad. I agree with you.
The art was weird. Like
the art is weirdly inconsistent.
You had Keenan John rather than Keenan Kong.
Yeah, you had small faces for the men, but like Wonder Woman, like the art on her was the most
inconsistent. Yeah.
No, I'd say like with her, like with Wonder Woman, like it's like, okay, the art there looks good, but then you go to like the male characters and they all have like small mouths, small eyes, and big faces.
Like I said, they've got Charlie Kirk syndrome.
Yeah.
There's some panels where like the faces aren't like disproportionate, but they look different from how they usually are. I think it's the hood when they're eating in that cafe.
Yeah. Oh, and in that one, John's physique is like not consistent.
He looks fucking jacked.
He looks like his dad in that one. Like physique and build wise, he has like the big chest, the big shoulders.
Like the broad shoulders. Yeah.
Yeah, like while on the cover and then in the majority of like this book, and then also in other books, he's muscular but like lean. He's not obviously
he's more like a swimmer than he looks more like a swimmer than a bodybuilder. Yeah.
Yeah. He looks too tall,
Um,
John. It could just be that Yara is shorter.
How tall is she canonically?
I don't know. So find it there. On to the DC Wiki.
So let's talk power levels real quick because in All Star Superman it took Super Cancer plus his robots and the Sun Eater to defeat Solaris. So how he's gonna beat him?
Yeah, how's he gonna? How did John defeat him?
Well, no, Chris. This continuity is thrown together with like packing tape and a paperclip. You think the writers did their research on power levels, or
No one did their research.
they just looked for deep cuts and they're like, "Hey, I can do this!
I can do
Hey!"
this! Yay! But
yeah, this was okay. I'll probably. I wouldn't go back and reread it, but it was an okay, skim.
It was
through.
something. And
All right,
you know what
GL
else?
time.
Yeah, you know what else was something? Green Lantern.
Yeah.
So the last Lanterns, which is the main story, by Jeffrey Thorne and Tom Rainey and Mike Ayeth were the artist and colorist. So the story for this is that something happened with the Green Lanterns, and we actually get like a little bit of a hint more in Guy Gardner's side story. But something happened. They don't have their powers. They don't have their rings. But that's not stopping them from being, protecting
heroes.
Being heroes, essentially. So John and a group of former Green Lanterns are protecting this planet from they were the Vanguards of the God in Red, I believe they were called.
Yes.
So they're protecting them. It's essentially almost a last stand because they are trying to protect shuttles that are trying to escape the planet. But they're clearly overwhelmed. They're outmanned. They're outgunned because they're just relying on like standard weapons, handguns, like energy swords. They don't have their rings. They even make it's just like, man, if we had at least one ring, this would be like much better. But they don't. I will say at least Thorne has a good indicator of the leader type of John, but that's it. Like John is clearly John is clearly the leader here. No, John is always portrayed as the leader type.
And he's the guy with the dreads, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So that is the story, and it goes to shit. They're getting overwhelmed, and then the God in Red, as he's called, appears on the battlefield as well. So that's the main story. So, what are your thoughts on the main story?
It's basically. I thought it was fine.
It was.
It kind of reminds me of the burn from Star Trek Discovery, where all the dilithium goes inert, and so they're kind of on their last legs.
Yeah, it wasn't bad, but at the same time, it wasn't like
anything inspired. It wasn't like something that justified doing another the core is getting
gone.
decimated story.
There's no Green
It's like
Lanterns.
it's like the Novas. Like they always do these stories about them getting the shit kicked out of them.
Yeah, it's just always like the Green Lanterns don't have their powers again. Oh no, there's no Green Lanterns.
What are they gonna do?
They always do this. It's not an interesting story.
And plus, it doesn't really matter because we're going back to Green Lanterns in 2 months, so
yeah,
no one cares.
No one cares. I mean, yeah, the story wasn't particularly that interesting. And I think this Jeffrey Thorne's taking over. He's gonna be the new Green Lantern. So
I don't think he cares.
I don't think he cares either because there's no Green Lanterns.
I've read his work. Like I've read some of his Star Trek Titan work. I like his work. So I don't know, maybe he just doesn't care and he's just waiting to do his good stuff until the book launches.
Maybe, but this is supposed to be like the preview.
A trailer. This
is the kind of stuff you're going to be expecting. Well, for the majority of the stuff, because not every writer that's on a future state title will be on the character that they're writing. Justice League is not going to be continued with Joshua Williamson. It's going to be Brian Michael Bendis. Stuff like that. the person that's writing Future State Flash is not going to be writing the Flash series from March onwards. So,
yeah,
Jeffrey
this
Thorne,
is weird.
Jeffrey Thorne is going to be the writer for Green Lanterns after Future State, and if this is what we're getting, I'm not picking it up. This does not interest me, which is a shame because I like Green Lantern. Green Lantern is one of my favorite characters.
And Jon Stewart is, aside from like more recent characters like Jessica Cruz, Jon Stewart is kind of my Green Lantern. So.
Jon Stewart is like, aside from Hal, is like everyone's Green Lantern. He got
because he was in the cartoon.
Because of the cartoon, like boosted his
comics.
Yeah, the cartoon boosted his popularity. To the point, like, yeah, people will argue, like, no, Jon Stewart is the Green Lantern. He's much better than Hal. Like, he's definitely better than Hal in some regards. He's better as a leader. Like, when Hal was the leader of the Green Lanterns, Hal was like, what do I do? I'm gonna go off and do my own things. Fuck you guys. To the point that he had to take the fall for the Green Lanterns and go rogue. So making Jon the leader of the Green Lanterns was, like, the smartest decision ever. But
Sorry, I'm dealing with a kind of not a crisis, but like a situation on my end. But yeah, I think that Jon being like, the strategy leader of the GL, while Hal is just kind of like doing his own thing, is usually the sensible choice.
It is, yeah.
But like this is nice, I guess.
I mean,
fine, whatever.
I mean, Jon's still a leader, but like, there's nothing else to it.
No one cares.
No one cares. So yeah, if this is depending on how the story continues in the second issue, looks like I won't be picking up Green Lantern.
I will. You know what? I'm gonna be a bit kinder. I'm gonna wait until the actual Green Lantern book launches and not the Future State stuff, because that tends to not be indicative of the writer's quality.
Okay, yeah.
For me, at least.
Yeah, I'll do. I'll actually agree with that. Yeah, maybe I'll see.
Because this is a 2-month relaunch that no one really gives a shit about. So
it's a 2-month relaunch no one gives a shit about, and it also doesn't matter because it's alternate timeline, alternate future.
But real quick, I want to talk about the backup story, the Jessica one.
Yeah.
Because
we're gonna talk about both of them, but we'll talk about the Jessica one first.
So this one's actually my favorite. So she's stuck on, I think, one of the Green Lantern bases.
Yeah, the Sector House. So the Sector House in 0123, because the story is called The Taking of Sector 0123.
Yeah. So Jessica's stuck on the Sector House, and a bunch of Sinestro Corps lanterns have broken in. And so Jessica has like no powers, but she is fighting against
Lisa Drac and just two underlings. So she's
Lou and Uggy, just two Genericons.
Yeah, so she's facing off against two generic Yellow Lanterns, and then one of the most dangerous Yellow Lanterns aside from Sinestro.
Yeah, so it does a good job of showing like that she's a fairly innovative character, not innovative in terms of character, but like in terms of her ability to adapt and overcome in tough situations.
Yeah, able to outsmart tougher opponents because she has no powering. She has nothing.
Yeah, and it's great because it's a continuation of her character arc from Humphrey and Seeley's GL runs, showing that she has that potential to do good even without her powers. And then she wins, and like the big twist of the issue is when she's taking down Drac.
Yep.
Or
Lisa Drac. Yep.
Yeah, Lisa Drac. She fucking gets chosen to be a Sinestro Corps member.
Yeah.
Like she fights off Drac with an atom axe, which I think is a fairly big deep cut to like early Silver Age Green Lantern.
Probably, yeah.
And then she wins and grabs the yellow Sinestro Corps battery, and she drops her Green Lantern ring and she gets invited to the Sinestro Corps. Big twist, baby. Yep,
the Adamax, wielded by Cole Parker. And
also, I like the art in this backup. It was Sammy Basri.
Yep, Sammy Basri and Hi-Fi on the colors. Yeah, it was great. Honestly, I enjoyed this one and the Guy Gardner story. I enjoyed much more than the main story. And these
Ryan Cady did the Jess story, right?
yeah, Ryan Cady did the Jess story.
Can we get this creative team to do a Green Lantern book? I'd read the hell out of this.
Yeah, I absolutely agree. Absolutely read this as well. This was a really good story, and which is a shame because they're not going to. It's not the main one. This should have been the main one.
Yeah. Oh well.
Oh well.
At least it was a good self-contained one and done.
Yep. And then
Then you've got I wasn't a big fan of the Guy Gardner thing because it reminds me of this one GL episode from the 2011 CGI series where their rings lose power.
Yeah.
So it felt somewhat repetitive, but it was pretty good. It was a good Guy Gardner moment, and then you got fucking Lobo coming in. So
yeah. So essentially, yeah, the story for Book of Guy Gardner's side story, is that he's on a mission in Sector 0345, trying to stop these two factions on this planet from like killing each other over this relic. And just as he's in a very Guy Gardner fashion, like negotiating, his ring loses power. So that is the hint I mentioned earlier, that what happened. So something caused all their rings to just turn off. So he's living on this planet. He learns to speak their language. They call him a prophet. He's essentially the leader of them all, and trying to keep the peace until it reaches the point where it's just like peace is achieved, and he's just like, huh, I have nothing to do. Huh. Until
it's like Home Alone 2.
Yeah, and then Lobo turns up. Lobo's just like, hey, you made a new Warriors bar. It's
what is it? The new Warriors? What is that? Safe Space and Snowflake?
So
easy target, but I had to do it just because I could.
Easy target, yes. So while it wasn't as good as the Jess story, I found some enjoyment with it. It has its moments.
I didn't want to sound like I hated it. I just didn't get as much enjoyment out of it as I did as the Jess one. Mostly because I like Jess as a character more than I like Guy Gardner.
Yeah.
But this one was good, I guess. It was fine.